Da-da-da-da. Kill me. What does like going to the Ruby sucks Discord? Okay. Oh my God, God damn it. Oh. I fucking can't believe that that damn it. Whoever. I'm going to kill Okay, the value of RWBY. I've never ever.
We're talking Ruby.
Wait, this is 3 minutes long? Oh. Watch this. Why, that, fuck you. Oh no, actually, no, wait. No, the fuck you meme. No, it's meme's fault. This is all meme's fault, by the way. Advanced. It, this isn't. Shut. This is advanced. This is advanced. This and whoever the fuck else. Ah, this is advent server meeting. Wait, wait, wait. Dad, why are you? Why is it red? Unmute yourself. Uh, Dad, your thing's red. We might have to add somebody. Oh. No. Okay. Yeah, Dad. What the fuck? I can't add Mike. Ralph. Why is that? Why is that muted? What the fuck? Why the fuck is that muted? Unmute that. Try switching. That try switching to Bad Movie Day. Okay, never mind. DA, I think you muted Dead at some point.
He knows what he did. He's unmuted.
Okay.
I can only assume. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yep.
now. Your headphones are better now?
Well, right now I'm just using my phone's basic mic. It must have been from last week when I was helping my grandma. I thought I could no longer be heard, but apparently it still could for some reason. Even though I
So
couldn't
you
hear anyone
muted
else.
so you muted Dead and you never unmuted him.
Well, I forgot. It was a week ago. It
What
wasn't
do
a
you
week
mean you
ago. It was a
forgot?
couple days ago.
So if you ever went into a VC, then you'd just be like, it'd just be like, nope, you can't be heard. Okay, let me start this up. This is Meme's fault because I wouldn't have done this if he hadn't suggested a watch party of this.
We're talking
Oh, it's very low. Whoops.
RWBY Volume 9 spoilers. If you're not caught up, go get caught up and come back. Please.
We have reached
Of
the
Solitude.
end of chapter 10. What do you think the characters are going to take away from this volume as we lead into the future?
This volume has just had so much to learn, so much to go through.
Yeah,
You
like,
got a lot.
yeah, like just get better.
Yeah,
Just get
stop.
better.
Just stop being depressed.
Oh my god, I hate that.
Both individually and as a team. This volume was all about learning more about yourself and feeling confident in that, and learning
Yeah, by getting a little power is just like
people in your
learn.
life, how to value each other. I think it's a great theme leading the volume itself. We had the isolation aspect, but we came together over a lot of emotional turmoil and just the need to have the human connection.
Are you talking about the series or the production?
Exactly. I'm like all of it.
Yeah.
I think especially watching
RWBY
has reminded me that there is that human element not only within the creative process, but outside of the creative process too. And I hope that's translated to
Yeah,
the
like-
also. Like,
Yeah, like don't crunch time your workers.
just reminding us
how
awesome this whole process has been, and to be a part of it, and to get to tell the story too, is just like such a special place in time, I think, for all of us.
Internally, we refer to this volume a lot as like their therapy.
My therapy too.
It's echoing.
Yeah.
Whoops, I don't have my headphones on. Like always. Okay, 1 second. I mean, you could have said that like a good few minutes ago.
So this is really weird. My headphones are at least working for me talking, but the speaker's still playing out through the phone.
I think mine's working fine.
I'd say you either need a new Discord, new or phone, or new everything. I don't know I have no clue what's happening with your
Discord is
setup.
acting up a lot for me.
Is it up to date? Like your
Should
phone
be.
or okay. I was gonna say phone and Discord, but have you tried restarting your phone?
Yes.
Have you tried bringing it into a shops or something?
I don't like these conversations. It's reminding me of work. I was gonna start troubleshooting, but
Discord just messing with me for no reason.
Hey, DA, how many a day? How many of these people do you get a day? Like, did you try turning it off and on again?
oh yeah, that's the number one thing that they tell us to ask on most calls because
And how
it
many times does
fixes
it work?
everything. 80% of the time.
But it didn't.
You get happy that when it doesn't work?
Sometimes when I'm a little bored, I'm just like, please, just give me something with this.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Since these are like 3 minutes, we might be able to watch all of them actually. Because I know DA hasn't watched them.
Ooh.
Pardon?
That sounds interesting. Like, or stupid. Mm-hmm.
Why the? God damn it!
Yeah.
One of the things that just when we were putting this volume together and where we wanted everyone to end up, looking at RWBY and this question of is she enough and this imposter syndrome feeling and
Yeah, this would have been great to have
Steve,
this would have been great to have like 4 to 5 volumes ago. Like they talked about it for like a few sentences, volume one, and then never again
Where was this imposter
until it was
syndrome? Like,
until no, they didn't talk about it in like the I think they talked about it in the literal first episode or second episode of volume one, and I'm like, well, that'd be good to talk about later. No, never mind. And I completely forgot about it until volume 9.
You clearly don't understand the
Wait,
foreshadowing that went into it. It was obviously pre-planned before time, you see.
How are you guys?
It's geniuses.
we talked. Kane can do something special. It's secretly a nuke.
So like this
then
was something that was
you
this was something that would have been an actual like a really good thing to bring up in like volume 2 or 1. She's 2 years younger than her own teammates. And then no, we're just not gonna even say anything about it. We're gonna say like half an episode? No, not even half an episode. It was like a third of an episode.
It was one and done in volume 1.
No, it
and
was
then
it
they
wasn't even a
decided
third of
to
an episode. It was a third of an
recycle.
episode between 2 people. Like it was between Weiss and RWBY. This would have been a good thing for like
Then we
my
also
voice
have to just be like, what's the answer that they came to in terms of Ruby's self-worth? And it's just, yeah, I guess. And how did they come to that answer? Well, she died, and then somebody was just like, nah, you cool. And
No,
that
she
was
got a
it.
random memory of her mother lying
and
to her
she got a
once,
flashback of
and
some Summer and
enough
Raven.
to restore her
What
self-worth.
is Raven doing anymore? You know what? That was a stupid
Really
question.
good that her mother's last words to her were thematically resonant and not just like, hey, clean your room.
Holy shit! I was like, wait, no. I had flashbacks. So I was like, "Oh, is that actually what she said?" I was like, "Oh no, that's not."
I still don't get why it showed that memory. It shouldn't know that.
there's like a lot of personal stuff that goes in for all of us when we're writing it, and like I'm gonna try not to get choked up because I always get choked up when I talk about this specific thing. I just thought it's
Shut
really
up.
lovely that it's
Oh my god! The mom was so terrifying for me.
He's done. You sound like done with this season.
No,
Shut.
it's not just the seasons, it's the people talking about it like they're like it's some kind of anything, and it's not.
Like it's so good.
It's like, oh, I get choked up. It's like there was no emotional anything. It's all hollow.
Do you think you would have? Do you think? Do you think if you were a writer, you would have had like you'd have felt some more emotion to it? Like if you were writing this, it would probably feel like a bit more emotional. I feel like it's more so like it's not so much them watching it. It's more so I'm writing this and it's like it's so emotional. This is gonna be? It's like, but
Yeah,
I guess
I don't think that there's a writer that writes something and like, yo, this kind of trash, but I just gotta put it out. They're like, no, I think I'm making a
Toriyama?
good product.
No, I think that's Toriyama.
Toriyama.
Toriyama
like,
don't care. That's the big difference.
Yeah, but he don't care because he doesn't care if he's what he's writing. Let me just give you a half of a character design.
He's just,
This
it's
is
not that
brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's him thinking that it's trash. I think he just don't even think about it. He just goes, here you go.
It's
good enough.
at the end of all of this, RWBY has this chance to reinvent herself, and she chooses herself.
Yeah.
And that always gets me. It's weird because she chooses herself, but comes out a little bit differently because of it, right? Like it's just this like hyper-focused.
We didn't know that this was an option until the second that it happened. Do you think that's good writing?
It allows emotional
Are you
value
proud of this?
given that option after prior thinking of the first one.
I think they think that's
If
good
people
writing.
had the
Well,
option
I
to
think they
not
think it's
change-
good writing.
If people have the option to not change, why has no one else not changed before? Why has everyone else changed except RWBY?
Urban List was
I
just
guess
like, yo, I
Ruby's
guess
so
I am
powerful.
trash.
Well, no, I think. Well, I mean, there could be an argument. No, there really can't. But to just play devil's advocate, I guess the most people that go like to the tree or like go kill themselves, that they are wanting to be something else.
What about those that have an untimely death? Because apparently those do happen.
Those people get reincarnated, right? We haven't seen that on screen.
Which is the problem?
I'm trying to make an argument for this. Like, we haven't seen that on screen, so we don't know if that hasn't happened. That is bad, but
The only scenes like for full-on ascensions were the Red King and the Paper Pleasers, just to show, hey, Ascension's okay, kind of. Even though they don't remember him whatsoever, and they're doing the exact same job as before.
wait, why did Ruby lose her memory? Because she chose herself, I guess. I mean, but then wouldn't she have gotten other What other of the other Ascensions have gotten other memories?
Well, she got a memory of her mother for some reason. So technically, she got more info out than anything else.
We don't know how blank of a slate they are when they come out of an ascension. Are they just like, all right, they're just inbuilt with a new purpose, or do they have vague flashes of memory of their past life or whomever they are now possessing?
Hey, who knows? We won't.
Oh, the closest
Who
we have to that would be the Red
knows?
Prince when he freaked out that they were humans. He's like his heart somewhat remembered Alex, therefore all humans bad.
We have been
But
spending
that could
16
also
minutes
just
and we're
be
only like a
said
minute
that
in.
his
God damn it.
informants were just like, "Hey, yo, humans suck."
Ready to kick
It's just
snap.
not enough information.
Oh no, we're barely given anything. It's like 20% info from the story, 80% headcanon.
Oh,
Worst season.
Oh god,
I'm
dang,
strictly on
that.
I'm strict. I can hear the argument for worst season, but volume 8, it's like mind and heart. You know, I can
I don't
see,
know.
yeah, if you think about it, volume 9's the worst season, but
No, I'd
volume
say
8.
Volume 9 might be the worst, but mainly because it's like a repeat of Volume 5 with the resources, except they purposely did it to themselves.
Yeah,
They
I
had
can
th-
understand
there's
time
that,
to work
but
on a video
at the
game
same time,
and the
but
movie
volume 8.
crossover instead of actually working on Volume 9.
Wait, they were doing this, but they were doing the crossover before volume 9?
They're doing it at the same time.
Oh, yeah, no, not reverse volume. Okay. I think because it was like all equal. It was like, I was thinking about it, but then I'm like, oh, you weren't even putting your full attention to this. Oh no, fuck you.
They put don't forget the in-game cutscenes for their video game Arrowfall.
I mean, Arrowfell was how
One of
how
those.
big that was that a big game or like a long game
It
or like
had
whatever?
in-game cutscenes that use the exact same stuff that the show uses. So they had to add.
Did it die?
like
I
it.
think so.
But it looks like there's 12 minutes of animated cutscenes Ruby Arrowfall.
Oh, the writing there is not good
So
either.
yeah, writing is a whole different.
Oh,
Oh, are we gonna have a watch
I
along for the RWBY Justice League crossover?
no.
I think that's your answer.
Well, try and convince it if you want to. He'll still be asleep.
Version of herself, and very excited about.
She comes as the self that chose herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is like this like
Self-love.
weird distinction,
Right.
but like yeah.
Well, that is like a universal thing that's happening, especially like globally. We're seeing a lot of that. It's like you can't pour from an empty cup. It's like rediscovering self-love and then pouring it out where you can to the people you care about.
This was a very unique volume, and the fact that it took place over a couple of years because of pandemic, because of work from home. There was a lot of stuff that happened
Because of
very,
RT
very
stuff.
specific to this volume. And what do you think you'll take away from the production side of this?
Yeah.
The fact that you pulled it off, I guess?
Yeah, I mean,
We don't applaud just for it existing.
That's
We would throw that.
I
We could
hate
try
it.
kick out of the garbage.
We don't applaud you for we don't give out participation. Like you tried.
It is
did
a
it. We
RWBY
made it to
season.
the end.
yeah,
Somehow.
so thankful for
Wait,
it.
did they?
Yeah, I mean,
We did it.
Oh,
we
no,
made it
that's
to the
you.
end.
Yeah.
so thankful for our team that rallied together. We
It's the animators who pay for all this stuff. It's the animators
I
who
need
have
to
to
turn
suffer to
you
get
guys
your
up,
dream to
or I need
actually
to
look
turn
the
them
way it
down.
does.
Actually,
They
well, you know what?
they have to spend a 1/50th of the time writing than they do animating. So it's why what are you talking about here?
Started
I
volume
would
8
say
at least
bring in an animator, but they've let them all go.
Ain't no more. They go.
Office, but volume 9 was pretty much all conceived outside of Office. Just the fact that we were able to pull it off makes me very happy, and I'm just really proud of it. Like, I'm proud of
Yep,
everything we
see?
do.
Are you proud?
Just the fact that we did it, I'm happy.
We did it. We made a season.
In their defense, I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate for a lot of this, but they can be happy that they did it, but they also have to realize it ain't good.
I can understand being
Yeah,
happy
again,
that they did it, but
Yeah,
my whole thing is don't do a 3-minute video going, we did it, y'all. We did. No, put that on Twitter. Talk about the show when you can with your voice and your face
if I
and
recall, they spent like
questions.
I mean, I guess this.
when the Bumblebee kiss happened, like they spent so much time talking about it in like 3 different shows of theirs in RT Productions.
Wait, what?
They talked about it on 3 different podcasts.
But I think there's just
Over
something
and
about
over
volume
again. Like the moment it came out, like for the next 3 days, it was nothing but Bumblebee.
Okay.
Of
You know,
course.
I would have been happy, and like I said, I don't. My brain shut down. Okay, 1 second. Oh,
We lost another.
okay.
The
So
bees.
I feel like I feel like it's basically understood. It's like it was just the wrong time to do that, and it was. It could have been. When do you think would have been the
No, people
best
say
time
it's a
for that to
perfect time
happen?
for that. People have been saying it's a perfect time. Like they could finally express their emotions in a world that won't kill them for being negative. I'm like, they've been doing that regardless of what the Grimm wants. Everyone in Remnant Acts does not act according to the world's own lore.
You know what would have been. You
Creatures
know
that
this
never
would have actually
feel
been a
emotion.
great. You know what a bit. If people in Remnant acted how they're supposed to, like just barely showing emotion, I feel like this would have been a great time to just have that all flooding out. That'd have made it much better since they know there's no Grimm, right? I'm
No, but
not
they've been
crazy
pretty much
here.
acting the exact same. Like it really
They're
makes
not
me question
thinking like that.
it's that kind of thing that makes you question what do the people know about Grimm, and why doesn't everyone know about Aura? It's a basic protective shield. It should be everyone should know about that.
And it's not even
Especially
like
considering when they did the tournament, they were just like, okay, here's Aura. And wouldn't you as somebody just sitting around be like, hey yo, how do I get that if I could just like take a knife
That
hit?
do normal people have do normal people like have semblances? Like I
No,
mean,
we've never seen
yeah,
a huntsman with the semblance.
I figured. I mean, I guess you could say that it's all like you learn about this in huntsman school, and not everybody goes to huntsman school. But that
I
would be
want to say
even
technically
stupider.
I want to say the closest we technically have would be like in Ren's flashback where he used his semblance and he wasn't when he wasn't a huntsman, he was just a kid. Or also when they exposition about Nora, how she activated her semblance, getting struck by thunder.
Yeah.
But then it also raises more questions. Why doesn't everyone else like activate their aura or semblances if they can do this as kids?
There should
Why are there so many
it
people
should be like
without
My
it?
Hero. Oh, hey Leo. It should be like My Hero, where there's just like a bunch of quirks that exist.
Well, My Hero operates on the honor system, which is rather stupid.
God.
that like hits a little bit different for me. And the number of people on our team as well that have come up and said, you know, how much they like this volume and how much it's like meant to them. I can't think of a volume
Because
that
they
I have more.
I feel like they like it because they vote it for. I I as an outsider looking
I
in,
got
I'm like, how do you like this exactly? Like what do you
Well, they
think
pretty
of
much had to
what do you
gas
think would
themselves up in order.
actually no, I shouldn't finish that sentence. No.
They pretty much had to gas themselves up with this because if they don't, Warner could just shut them down.
They could?
You see, we didn't make trash, Warner. We didn't. We swear.
That's pretty much what the title is. The value of RWBY. Hey guys, we still have stuff to do. This can get you stuff. This can get you money.
I never thought about that. You know, because I was gonna say, like, what do people think when they watch this? But then I was like, do people think when they watch this? Like, is that what they're
Most
supposed
people
to do?
don't.
Yeah, yeah.
More emotional attachment to besides volume 3, which happened, you know, right after Monty passed, you know, and like that was a lot of myself at the time being put into it, and this is a close second in terms of just like how I felt and what I feel like I needed. So I mean, I think the thing I'm gonna take away is that you are you, and that is enough.
Ugh.
Okay, well, what was Weiss's arc in that entire journey, in that entire volume? What did she learn?
Awooga.
Hey, if the point was you're you and that's enough, why was it just like, oh look, the paper pleasers are better?
Okay, I'm gonna. Which would have been? Do they have a playlist of this? Like for Volume 9?
I think so.
Okay, Volume 9 Roundtable. Thank you. But thank you.
Hello.
You did one thing right. Hold on a second. Let me turn on the lights. Okay. So this is. Oh, geez. We're gonna be here for a while.
We skipped the episode 6. Talks nothing about but the bees.
Pardon?
We can skip the episode 6 one. It's nothing but bee talk.
I will watch that later then.
Everyone, and welcome
Actually, no, I won't.
to the
No, I won't. What the fuck did I say?
RWBY
No.
Volume 9 Roundtable. I am your host, Jack Patillo. You
Let me first do something. The fact that this setting was discussed between volumes 1 and 2 showed. Wait. It was?
Huh?
Okay. No, I was reading this. The fact that this setting was discussed back between volumes 1 and 2 shows Monterey influence is still alive and strong. I'm proud I hope he's proud of how the team has tried to carry on his vision. I honestly love the focus on Team RWBY this volume. So much has been going on. It's so good for them to be together again as a team.
You just asked, do people think about this show? Come on now, look at this and answer that question.
No,
I
I'll also say something
It's
funny.
always It's
You know
always
the
been
terrible
hinted
fight
and
scene
teased for
from
years. I
like
can't believe it's actually happening. Volume 9 looks so great. Looks great so far. I can't wait for the rest of
you guys remember the awful fight scene from I think it was like
Wait,
episode
wait, whoa, whoa,
9
whoa,
where
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Juniper
whoa,
just
what,
suddenly
what?
disappeared?
You should be excited to know. I believe they've confirmed a green lit for up to volume 12. Wait, where?
Sources.
Does that mean Gavin's wrong? Does that mean? Well, people just make.
What awful fight scene?
It was when everyone was against the cat as it was Neo, and Juniper just
Yeah.
suddenly disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Blake and Yang were fighting nothing. Weiss was suddenly 20 feet away fighting a RWBY clone that was for some reason over there.
The classic.
Yeah, because one of the animators said that they were the ones who made this, and I'm just like, and I commented, "Where did Juniper go?"
The show has brought so many amazing people.
Blocked.
I never got an answer to this day.
Ooh.
To think that every volume has been. I'm sorry if you heard that. Okay. Always a big fan of Alice in Wonderland IP from the OG Disney. Okay. It's so good to have my favorites. Give me some, let me sort by new. Let me get something. Like, I want to get one comment that's like they get in the show together. I don't have time to find something I have no.
Hello?
But ever since, okay, no, I don't know.
You might know me as the voice of Junior from volumes 1 and 2, 9 years ago, I guess. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RWBY Volume 9 Roundtable. I am your host, Jack Patillo. You might know me as the voice of Junior from volumes 1 and 2.
He's Junior, the club owner from the Yang trailer.
Oh, him.
He had 3 lines.
Like my brain was literally going through like every character. I'm like, who? I don't even remember the voice. I'm like, oh, because he ain't said
Let's
nothing.
introduce everyone, starting over here. Who are you, sir?
I'm Eddie Rivas, head writer of RWBY.
I'm Barbara Dunkelman, voice of Yang Xiaolong.
Hi, I'm Carrie Shawcross, and I'm the showrunner.
I'm Lindsay Jones, and I voice RWBY.
And I'm Erin, I'm the art director.
Yay! Claps for us.
Roundtable claps.
Let's dive into it. So, Volume 9, a little bit different from the rest of RWBY that we've seen before. So, where did the idea for Ever After come from?
Oof, that's okay. That's a big question. There's a lot of history there. So way back in the day, this is like, I think between volume 1 and 2, we had this idea of like, yeah, we could maybe do an Alice in Wonderland kind of themed thing that was actually going to be a tangible place that was between the fall of Atlas and what came next. And that was 8 years ago at this point.
Oh my God.
We kept writing, and we got to the end of volume 8 and Atlas falling, and we're like, well, we still want to do this, but maybe we'll do it a little different.
Yeah, the idea with volumes 7 through 9 was always that it was going to kind of culminate in like a personal story with Team RWBY. Okay, maybe this island Ever After idea could be worked.
No, okay, cool.
That's a big load of lie right there, or else they would have been the main focus, but John got more screen time. Side characters got more screen time.
It wasn't.
Many side characters got their arcs
there were,
before
multiple moments where like the team to be like
worked into it in volume 8, and it would be a really great place to kind of reset, get away from the main narrative, and actually let Team RWBY all have some time together. Make it feel a little bit more like volume 1, just in the sense of being more focused.
Pare things down a little bit,
The most crazy volume. Pare it down a little bit. Back to the basics.
Yeah.
Extreme visuals, simple themes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So is that why you want to do it right now? Like, it's a good spot to fit it in?
I'd say so, yeah. I think we knew, even before we wrote them, that volume 7 and 8, the fall of Atlas, was going to be...
It's going to be a low point.
It's going to be a low point, and it was going to be a lot.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of felt like...
But, oh my God. Hey, every time I remember the fall of Atlas, I'm like, this could have been prevented so easily.
I still find it baffling how they pin so much blame on Ironwood when he's literally facing Satan.
It's like, what would you do? And they're like, oh, we don't really have a plan, but your plan sucks. Like, well, come up with something better.
Or they'll just be like, oh, you'd work with Team RWBY. It's like, no, you do that because you know you know who they are. You know who they are for like 7, 8 volumes. You are Ironwood barely knows these people. Truly. And it's dumb. I hate the fact that that's all I can say.
It's just really funny how they paid him as a dictator when there was a very tangible threat, the Grandma right there. And not to mention, he is preparing to fight Satan. He can't accommodate everyone and also fight Satan.
But he broke down very fast over it. Not like they did the exact same thing.
Hey, guess what? RWBY broke
Not
through.
like they did the exact same thing in
support.
oh shit, they actually did. They actually did do the same thing in volume 5, where it's like, oh no, it's impossible. But they're just
Let's take a little bit of a breather, and do something different.
So you're saying this is like a pressure valve, essentially,
A little
where you can have some fun with it, sort of bring some energy and some positivity back?
A little bit. I mean, I think this is probably something we'll get into later, but it can be kind of hard to get to some of these more character-driven things when the world is also ending.
Yes.
Right.
How do we take away
No,
that
it's
threat
not.
a little bit, or at least
It's not hard if you're a good writer, but they're not. So it
That
is
was just
hard.
They make it sound like Salem is a very
what?
imminent threat.
Was
Well,
there-
no, we've only seen her be super lazy and sit in her chair for 8
Let me ask a
volumes.
question. You know that they aren't capable of. Do you think they could have hired somebody that was possibly more capable, like that was gonna more capable to work alongside them?
That was the point of Eddie's job.
Pardon?
That was the point of Eddie's job.
Which one of them?
He's the one on the far right. The purple shirt.
Okay. Hey, Eddie, no.
But they say it's also hard. But then they just go. May Marigold had before the big trans. Hey, my family kicked me out. They had what, like 3-4 lines, and then they get that big outburst. It's just like, okay, character established, motivation established, emotional moment. A lot of stuff happened with that one scene, and they're like, oh no, it's hard to do this. It's not.
Like half of that, I thought you were talking about One Piece. God damn it!
Oh no.
I'm just I'm like thinking of a better series at this point.
We can address these things without it.
It's, you know, the thing that annoys me is like stuff like this around like because obviously I'm gonna record it and like put this up on like my channel. Like if anyone ever watches it, it's just gonna sound like I'm just needlessly annoyed at this. But it's like it's hard to put into words on how just disappointed one person can be.
It's completely understandable so long as it's expressed correctly. It's not just you going, it sucks. It's going, it sucks because of this reason, and people can disagree. But so long as you express that properly, it's hey, whatever's whatever.
Feeling like, hey, I know this character's sad, but the things are on fire.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about
Everything kind of sucks.
Yeah. So this is a way for us to balance that a little bit.
Yeah, it would feel really weird to kind of pause it while everyone's kind of still on Remnant.
And it would also be
No, you
weird
could
to like,
have them do all the character stuff while adjusting to Vacuo. Because now you just glossed over all the refugees that were just suddenly shoved in there.
But that's not a new thing because they just glossed over all the people that just blew up when Cinder attacked the bridge.
Well, no, they also glossed over rioting and many a grim attacks that happened in Volume 8 or Volume 7.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, they don't care.
Now here's my thought.
It's hard.
It's also
writing
really
is hard.
Oh, here's my thing. It's also tone deaf to do the opposite in Volume 9, where it's like, we're so like, we're gonna have. My brain just died. Okay, give me like a few minutes. Give me like a few seconds. Okay, so it's also like fucking annoying to like have it to be like basically tone deaf in like the volume 9 where it's like it's like Ruby just leaves immediately. Ruby just leaves after like having this big rant about her just being upset at everyone, and then
Ruby becoming
no,
homophobic.
we're just happy right now.
Yeah, they immediately just go, yeah, cool. After that big old, it's again, another episode or two would have been very helpful for a lot of stuff, or just cut out the fluff and the fat. We didn't need a full episode of a chess game that we don't know the rules to.
To which
I
they
fucking hated that chess game because it's like because it was truly okay, this is turn based. Wait a second, it's not turn based.
No, listen to the first rule. They said one piece can move one square at a time. What did Weiss do? Move three spaces.
Crazy. And then it's just like, Weiss go, Yang go, Blank go, and then the Red King is like, all right, whatever, it's my turn now. It's like, what, can you just do that? Can you just like, no, it's my turn now.
Well, the king cheating I can understand, but then like Ruby immediately cheats and he doesn't call her out.
Yeah, leave the art to
But
for you,
was it
Sebastian.
cheating? Because we don't know how many people, how many squares are able, how many pieces are able to move per turn.
He said once, one square, one move.
No, I
Also,
mean
that's
the
actually
people.
terrible. Also, we don't even know how they're gonna move. This is why chess. This is why like, making a chess type rule game, you kind of have to explain it a little bit more thoroughly because in chess, like if I just put a chessboard in front of you, like you probably wouldn't be able to know it at first on a first go, so, unless you're purposely trying to mislead them. Which I mean that would have been a good thing to be like, oh, you don't know how to play at all. But then he explained the rules.
Yeah, but he also didn't really explain the rules because we don't know how many. Because the first thing was just like, hey, dumb little random piece, go forward and attack, and then it did, and then it didn't work, and then it was just like, okay, Yang go, okay, White's go, okay, Blake go, and then the red king was like, okay, yeah, now it's my turn. So is it five moves per turn? Is it
He said every piece can move once. You can move every piece once.
Also,
so you can have a 12.
Why did he know they were humans? Like there's nobody that even looks remotely like them.
Oh yeah, they're literally the only ones of their kind there. There's no one that looks remotely close to a human in that world.
I mean, surely the Rusted Knight is humanoid. Should he have been like, hey, boy?
It's just John.
Yeah.
So
what do you mean
count.
the Rusted Knight is humanoid? Also,
trying to figure things out. We really wanted time for the four main girls.
Eddie looks like a YouTuber
to be able
now.
to do that with themselves.
From an acting standpoint, just from Ruby's perspective, I like that we already had her kind of attempt to escapism or a little bit of a pause on all that disaster that's happening in front of her through the wishes with Jin. Now we get to experience that in a bigger playing field, a literal world that they're exploring in where you can divulge into your feelings.
Yeah, when you cry.
Wait.
Hey, what did they learn about this world?
Did
they learn about this world aside from Ascension?
Wait a second. Oh, actually, no, that's stupid. I was supposed to say, why didn't Jin tell them about this? But then I was like, wait, no, that's actually Jin didn't know,
No,
or Osmond didn't know. But then Osmond didn't know. Also didn't know what Salem was doing. So then how did it?
No, because their vague question was, "What is Ozpin hiding from us?"
Yeah, and then but then there were like a good few minutes where Ozpin would not have been there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He was dead for most of his flashback.
Yeah, so then you just know. I'm gonna one day need to rewatch your because reasons. I'm just gonna have I'm gonna be like, this is just this is like, it's like, this was not explained. This was not explained. Oh, this was sad. Have you rewatched your because reasons, DA?
Yes, I have.
Recently?
Not yet, not recently. I think the last time I did was like midway through volume 8. Because it's always good to go back just to be like,
remember what
hey, I
you
got all
disliked.
these questions. See what
was answered.
answers. See what.
Remember what wasn't answered. Mostly what wasn't answered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Riot reigns.
Yeah.
And
What
maybe
new
we're gonna get some feelings.
questions are raised?
New questions are raised about that volume because I think I've said this to Dad. I don't think I've said this to you. Every time I rewatch RWBY or like think about RWBY, something else comes up and it fucking annoys me. It's like without fail, something big, like something story breaking, like it just comes up where it's like, oh,
it's not a good show.
I don't know how you can say Volume 6 was a good season just not in terms of RWBY, but in terms of seasons.
Well, I'll let you know when I rewatch it. Hopefully, my feelings are the same.
They will not be because I will do an argument of why Volume 6 is not a good volume. Just it's good in terms of RWBY. Why it's not good, period. Like,
oh no, it's still a bad season, but it's like the better of RWBY entirely.
It's good for RWBY. It's good for RWBY, but I don't know. But I can't see it anything better than that. And I need to know why you think it's anything better than that. Well, actually, no, I know why you think it's better than that. It's probably something to do with it has something to do with Neo coming back. Something to do with
Brunswick Farm was a neat little arc.
Yeah, a little bit. But then it also has some other problems of why aren't there more evolved Grimm? Like and then there's like, and then there's also the Atom fight, which is I forgot
Well,
all
the
about
Atom fight is
those.
terrible.
Yeah.
Cordovan fight also terrible.
Oh, Cordovan arc is actually god awful. Actually, now that I think about it,
Oh yeah, is very
because
nonsensical. It has a
yeah,
shielding, but then you could just pull off panels and shoot the shielding.
yeah.
Things I don't know, maybe.
It also felt really good to get a little bit more meta with it and
Sure.
dive into a fairy tale setting, and it just felt like a really appropriate place for
Yeah,
the show to
because
go.
that's always been such a core of RWBY and
Mhm.
the creation of all the characters and the plot lines and everything like that. Like every character is based off of a storybook character, mythology, everything like that. And so to like
Okay, this doesn't have anything to do with this, but I don't know if this is weird, but I hate when I can hear like a person who acts talk, and I just like I can only hear the character's voice, and I can't hear like, oh, you're the person just talking. Like I keep hearing just, oh, Yang saying something instead of like the actual actor.
Barbara.
Yeah, there's not too much of a differentiation between the voice and
Yeah, and I kind of
and
dislike
the
that. Where it's
lady.
like because
Lindsay
who
at
is
least able to put more of a voice on for Ruby.
yeah, but I mean like I can hear it less for Lindsay, but I can definitely hear it for Barbara a lot. And it's I kind of don't like that in like shows.
really dive into that fairy tale atmosphere, I think is like so cool for this volume.
Telling
Cats
you
are
the
real.
fairy tale that's never told to us.
Pardon?
Fairy tale that's never told to us, and the author has to remain anonymous in order for that stupid twist.
My goodness.
He is one.
I still don't
Sebastian's
get how
just
people
dissing
can
it.
defend that twist.
It's terrible. Like because the like
They had to
it feels
never
like
once think of the author.
I don't know if they did think about the author because it wouldn't it would why would they why would the author be kind of both embellish the details like that? Like I keep saying like I fucking hate it. Oh my god.
I'd say this. Why did the author include poison in their story when Lewis has no clue that poison was used? And if poison was used and Alex told him that she poisoned literally the only other human there, that is a conversation that should have been had.
But it's just the
Yes.
fact that the blacksmith just did one sentence of, "Yeah, this is what happened." That's all you need to
He wrote it
know.
the way he
This,
wanted it to.
yeah. The writers do not care about this. They're just like, "Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's the big twist. Moving on."
Honestly,
No
the
need to
moment
think
you
about
need
this.
to
No need to
do something
explain.
like that should have,
Well, we need to
or
know more.
especially
We
Jean.
don't. You can't just.
I'd say especially Jean should have figured out this twist, like, or not be surprised by this twist because, well, yeah, he finds out there's a second person. The moment, and he's racking his head around the story over and over again, but never once thought of the author. And he's been sitting on this info for about 10 to 15, 20 years. Never once thought of the author. And then you still got the terrible timeline of events because this is apparently like a 10 to 20-year-old book. Because time moves the exact same amount in the Ever After to Remnant.
We don't even know. We don't know that. We technically don't know that because it just told you. It just sends you when you were needed most. So it could have been like 1 second.
It's also funny to realize that Team RWBY had only been there for 2 days.
They could have been there for longer. Wait, no. Canonically 2 days or in Remnant.
They've
it's
only been there
2
for
days.
2 days. They arrived and left within 2 days. Because the first night happened. The first night happened with the paper pleasers.
They resolved the depression arc in less than 2 days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Grand opening, grand closing.
It's such a funny line. Because that's That's true. Pretty much what happens.
They are cat ears.
Why does it
Oh,
smell
yeah.
know what cat is? What? Why does it smell like it? I know this is 100% a nitpick, but like, why do they know what a cat is? That's all.
Sorry,
It's a natural predator. Apparently, they exist and kill them.
Yeah, but
Even though we never
even if they
see
do
anything
exist,
like that
they
happen.
wouldn't be called. The odds of them being called a cat are like astronomical.
Oh yeah,
But
it's
you know you can just pull that back even further and just go, why do they know English?
True. But again, that doesn't really matter that much.
I can only assume
cartoons.
come from the same place, the tree.
Pardon? What did you say?
I can only assume because they tend to come from the same place, the tree.
I mean, I guess. I mean, there hasn't been any knowledge of other languages, so yeah, this isn't like an Earth scenario where it's like, oh, they just speak English other than any other language that could exist.
It's the 9th volume, you know, and I think we want to take a step back and kind of ourselves.
Only
look at the
now you want to
series
take a step back.
and these characters and this world and be able to have like a
guess they
little
took a step back like
on
volume
that too. So I think with all of that and all of this production going on during the pandemic, I think this is a volume that we all needed.
Oh.
And that'll become more clear in the pandemic. I think this is a volume that we all needed.
They need this.
I love that response. Just exits Discord.
And that'll become more clear as you watch.
Did it become more clear as we watched?
No, it became more hazy.
Yeah, I figured.
In fact, it
Why are
became
they-
just a black
why are they
spot
color-
where, like,
why are these
yeah,
color-
you
Oh,
of course, it's colored like Ruby. Except Weiss is white, but they use blue, and Blake is black, but they use purple.
I mean, I'm really a fuck. Oh, hold on a second. Let me change this. Oh no.
What happened?
God damn it. Why does Discord have to crash now? Is it? Leo. Fuck you, Leo. Okay, I'm back. The Discord couldn't handle this. Am I back?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
Insanity! This kid doesn't get out much, does he?
He's from the 19th century.
Get out of here!
No, really? He's like never seen cars and stuff. Go on, ask him something.
Say, 19th century kid, you want to watch a cartoon on the television?
What is a cartoon? And what is this thing you call television?
Pretty accurate.
That's actually really good, Leo. What is a cartoon? Back. Yeah, that's good. Back to this. You guys can see it? Yeah, figured.
So what's it like, taking your characters from this larger storyline we've seen for a while and now having this radically different kind of unique storyline? How do you handle that as an actor?
It's very interesting being separated from everything that's going on, especially at the end of Volume 8. Everything was so intense. You had no idea what was
And
going
we'll
to
never
happen.
know how it went afterwards.
Pardon?
And we'll never know how it went afterwards since they jump cut.
Every time I try to say I think or I assume, like I just need to stop myself. I
You already
hope
messed up.
Yeah,
I
'cause
hope they will
a lot
show
of time
what
happens-
happens because there were a lot of grim there. I hope they don't just smash cut to them being in back loop. I hope.
Oh,
I don't assume.
but they
I
did.
don't think they will. I hope. Is that better?
No, they did, but they did. They smash cut right to Vacuo.
No,
Everything's
I hope,
fine and
I
dandy.
hope these guys. I hope these guys on screen, like the ones, like Winter, Emerald, Ren, and Ozpin, or Oscar. God damn it. Okay, I hope they don't. They show them actually trying to get out, and not just they're in vacuum now with hundreds of people.
Well,
I think
if
that there's
Volume
gonna
10 does
be.
happen, they can't waste time on that. So yeah, they'll just yada yada over it because they gotta do Endgame with Volume 10.
Again,
I think that
I
there's
don't. I
gonna be
don't.
a full flashback episode about what happened while they were gone, though.
Do you think that's
You
enough?
give them too much credit, DA.
Do you think that's enough, DA?
I'm gonna address those in order. I give them too much credit. I think that that's basic writing, and that's what should be done. So I'm giving them credit as your employment is a writer. So that's as much credit I'm giving them. Is that
Do you think
enough?
they deserve that?
Absolutely not.
Do you think they deserve that credit based on what they've shown? Hello?
Yes.
You took a while to answer that one.
entire
DA.
time? I thought I just cut out. Oh,
I had to think about everything.
They didn't make Genlock, right?
No,
I
they
think-
did not. That was a different division.
Okay, thank God. Because if they did, I was just going to say no, they do not. They do not deserve
Yeah, no,
this.
Genlock is without merit, but RWBY has some kind of juice.
What is this?
You see, unlike other anime, this is about the characters.
Oh my God, you just remind me of that one fucking video. I was like, unlike everything else, RWBY does death well, except for these series that do death well. No examples. Fucking God damn it, so.
Yeah, I forgot Genlock said that. Like,
Pardon?
oh no, the quote he said earlier about like, unlike other mecha anime, this thing is about the characters. I'm like, for Genlock, I'm like,
Oh, that was a
you don't,
Genlock
you're.
quote?
Yeah, that was that was a Genlock quote.
Oh.
Well,
Which I'm like,
I hope everything's.
I guess
We're
that
talking about
proves
two
you haven't
different
watched
people here.
anything.
We're talking about two different people here. I'm talking about Zellwriter who said that and was just a bitch about it.
Oh, yeah, I know who you were talking about for Zellwriter. I'm saying like, darn, I forgot who just spoke, but the quote they said about like character is about character interactions instead of the mechs. That was a quote from Genlock, one of the writers of Genlock.
Sure. Yeah, let's just have an entire depression arc in like one episode. If I had a nickel for every time they did a depression arc in like less than an episode, I'd have basically 2 nickels. Shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I shouldn't have one. I shouldn't have a nickel.
I'm trying to recall if there was a depression arc in RWBY because I get the feeling there was.
Oh, please don't give me 3 nickels. Hey, Sebastian, I'd like to point out that you're also in this VC. One second.
All right, let the video play.
There, I don't really know what's going on. The moment I really loved too was when the rest of Team RWBY finally finds Yang, and she's like, "You guys aren't supposed to be here. This is bad if we're all down here." It's a little heartbreaking, but she's trying to be strong, and she's just like, "Dang."
I love that that's happening, and from my standpoint too, like RWBY at the end of
Thank
Volume
you for
4, we had
saying
her go off on her
exactly
own
what happened in the episode. We saw
Actually,
that.
no. This is episode 2, and they're talking about episode 1.
That was the sequence of events. She was like, dang.
I zoned
Yes,
out
she
because of this one
was.
Sebastian.
Which honestly is even really no, which is honestly more stupid what RWBY says because they didn't fall there by choice. They got shoved into the void.
I hate her going, you thought we would just leave you behind? It's like y'all didn't come here to find her.
You all just happened to fall here.
They just forgot what they wrote.
Well, is that really so new? Remember volume 7 to 8? The comms tower's not ready. Volume 8, the comm tower's ready.
In their defense, it wasn't ready to be.
No, it was ready to launch. They just didn't need Ironwood
it was
to
ready
go.
to launch? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was ready to launch.
I was gonna say, in their defense, it wasn't ready. It wasn't fully ready to launch, and Penny helped a bit, but I guess not.
No. The only thing Penny had to do was just keep it stable because Cinder blew a hole in it. Other than that, the Abbey Arena was ready.
I hate how I can't read cursive writing, but I know that's probably like just squiggles.
Leader,
But I also don't want to read cursive writing.
decide what needs to happen and really not put anyone else
You
in
don't
harm's
need
way.
it.
So to hear that happen to you is even more heartbreaking. Not only is Ruby not exactly aware of what has happened after she had her fall, it's like her sister now is kind of in all this danger too. From my standpoint, it is awesome to explore this really unique and fun world, but like Ruby's still dealing with a lot and now on her own by force, not by choice. So we'll see how she fares. Yeah.
It sounds like your characters are kind of coming into
Wait,
this with a
what
lot
the
of
heck is
baggage.
getting
There's-
really experienced? He's only been there for like 10 minutes.
Now that I know it canonically takes place over 2 days, that just makes a lot of this development just actually even worse. Unbelievable.
They make it sound like Yang had been there for at least like a couple hours at most, but no, she was just there for a couple minutes before Ruby showed up.
Time dilation. Time.
There is no time dilation. Also, this is another funny thing.
Time dilation.
If there's no time dilation,
we just forget
that
it
means John
exists.
No, because like there is no time dilation due to the fact that everyone showed up around the same time, or else they would have been scattered throughout various hours of the day, if not a day or two.
Oh, I was talking about voice power time dilation, which has never been shown ever again.
But because this is more funny to think about, because Jean had to find Crescent Rose hours when it landed, within hours, instead of trying to stop himself from touching the stupid time fruit.
Again, John sucks. It's like, who the fuck touches a time? Who the fuck touches a fruit like before they even show up? Like,
one of the first things he did.
Wow, look at these weird clocks glowing from a tree. I'm gonna grab it.
it's just basic instinct. Who touches a fruit they don't know anything about?
Well, he has gloves on, so he's at least protected there.
Pardon?
He has gloves on, so he's at least not touching with his bare hands. That's worse.
Yeah, but he was gonna eat it.
No, he was just gonna look at it, because I don't think you can eat that considering how hard the shell is. Not to mention, there is no juice in there. It's just bits and metal. Tons of iron. Too much iron.
Unique story.
Oh, yeah.
As an actor, how do you portray that? How do you carry that weight from something but have to react to something wild?
I can answer this. I hang on their backs.
How do you act?
How do you
It's a stupid question.
You're Yoda. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm like a little Yoda. Yeah.
Well, I think in my mind, it's really, I think the biggest deal for Weiss in this situation because it was her home. She hasn't probably had time to process all of that, and then all of a
We never got what he's talking about Atlas. I just realized.
No, she talked about it or she alluded to it about 2 times. One where she was super depressed, talking to Ruby like, I don't even know if my family's okay, blah blah blah. And I think it was like in this episode too. And then in episode 5 where she's like, why did you do everything we leave burn? We're thinking back to Atlas and how it was also.
She's also. Well, did she say everything we do burn? She's
Why
talking
is every
about
place
Beacon.
we visited?
She's talking about
Why is
Beacon
every
as
place
well, and potentially that other place with Cordovin in it. I'm I'm blanking on the name there.
Yeah, but it's with recency. She's definitely thinking about Atlas. Although it's still
They
funny
should have
that
been.
they
They should have talked about more about like they should have talked about it a little bit more because the fact that I kind of forgot about that and I watched this like not too long ago, it's a problem.
it's a major problem that she just like Ruby gets to be sad and get support and all this stuff. Weiss just talks about it and she's fine.
Yeah.
Never really addresses the stuff. And it's still funny that they think that the plan was sound when plan was gonna have Atlas crash into Mantle regardless, considering they're just taking it needs to stay up.
Yep.
And she's now in
So
this new place.
I
dealing
don't
with-
get why they're surprised they lost Atlas.
I mean, it's the thing. The main thing is it is their fault that they lost Atlas, but then there's like they should have done that much more. I'm not good. How do you guys do it in Revisited? Like just come up with so much stuff on the fly when you're watching.
It's we've talked to each other about this for quite some time, so we're both fairly quick-witted, so we go back and forth, and it's just sort of iron sharpens iron. So you think fast, you talk fast, get things
Yeah, because
done.
like every time you watch like I watch like a Dragon Ball Revisit, it's like you could have an entire new like way of like writing something for like, Dragon Ball. It's like for like a episode not for the revisited episode 19, not Demon Slayer. You're just coming up with an entire way of how Krillin could like, the Krillin Goku beam struggle could have happened. And it's like how do you come up with that really like just so easily. Although that one was specifically for was a long time ago for because reasons as well.
Yeah. It also helps when since it's two people, while one person is talking, the other person could be formulating their thoughts. But there's also the times where you just listen to something and just like, bam, go right into it.
Or the times where you just do not understand the sentence they got in Nuxtaku.
Yeah. And there's also times like with keeps happening with Naruto where I'm constantly finding more issues with that.
That surgery is still funny.
Which one?
Lee's surgery.
Oh right, is that? It's like.
Weiss is very no nonsense in general. So there's a lot of nonsense in there.
From my perspective, acting wise, I feel like
Oh
Ruby's
yeah, Weiss' sudden weird characterization in this being Nora for no reason.
Crazy. That's what I want to hear them talk about because that's just not her character.
Do you think they're gonna talk about it? No. Do you hope?
No.
It's like, do you think they're doing that? It's like, do you think? Wait, no. I messed up.
a little bit of Weiss's like attitude there, even in front of all this whimsy and wonder. Like she's annoyed, really. Like I have to deal with this.
Little
now.
is supposed to be the comedic effect or the comedian of the group, but all Little does is really sleep.
Yeah, because that's a character trait. She's tired.
They have mad narcolepsy issues.
Yeah.
As all of this imminent danger is befalling my friends and my home, like why am I dealing with this talking cat? Love him, by the way, very cute, but a problem in the moment.
Yeah. It's always a challenge, I think, when us as actors get put into these scenarios where you have to deal with so much trauma, essentially, and to figure out how our characters are managing that emotionally, mentally, and everything. But I think that's part of.
Wait, the cat. I thought the cat was introduced in episode 3.
Maybe this is after episode 3.
Which one is this one? What video are we watching? Because I could have sworn we were watching the review of episode 1.
1, 2,
and then
3.
the top.
Oh, there's one for each episode.
Yeah, there's one for each episode. This should be the second episode, but the cat was introduced in episode 3.
1 second.
I remember because it's
At
with
first,
the king.
when I wrote Cat Ruby, I'm like, wait a second, no, wait a second, I'm gonna get the wrong character. Let's see when shoot. First appearance, Rude, Red, and Royal. Which episode is this? This is
It's episode 3.
third episode.
Yeah, the third episode.
Also, that would have been in episode 4 though.
No, the cat was
That
introduced
specific,
in
that
episode 3.
specific one, that specific part of it, because I'm pretty sure Archie. Yeah.
Near the tail end of episode 3 is when the cat shows up to bail Ruby out of the
Us as
situation.
actors get put into these scenarios where you have to deal with so much trauma, essentially, and to figure out how our characters are managing that emotionally, mentally, and everything. But I think that's part of the fun of voice acting, is trying to put yourself into these scenarios and these situations and understand how your character would perceive it. I know Yang uses comedy a lot to kind of deal, and I think that really comes out this volume,
Where was
which
the comedy?
has been really.
Pardon?
Where was Yang's comedy throughout this entire volume?
I think Blake laughed once.
No, Blake was laughing at Yang.
Oh, that one. I completely I forgot about that joke.
That was episode 1. And then I guess you could say episode 2 where she actually shot the guard and was like, yay, got my arm back. No, I think this might be it, actually.
Characters are in a bad place. It doesn't mean they're just going to be mopey
Right.
the whole time. I'm sure we've all been in a situation where
Until they are.
for, maybe like a family member passed away or whatever, and you still crack a joke with, your friend.
And you see how they feel the need to have to explain not only basic writing but basic humans. They're like, oh,
Basic
you're not
humans.
always gonna be mopey,
As opposed to acidic
It's like,
humans.
yeah.
Well, again, except Ruby, who gets to be mopey throughout the entire thing, and ignored.
But then she's
Until she
better.
isn't.
It's not just all or nothing. So I think you take the baggage and you put it in a bottle, and then you just
Like
slowly.
you would think that her sister of all people would know that something's wrong, but no, the fucking River does.
She asked her a question once and then never again.
I need to know what. Okay, I need to know what they think. What they think about Ruby's outburst. I need
Place that bottle.
A little bit of gallows.
We're gonna figure that out in like about another 3 hours. God damn it.
Yes. No, it's a bittersweetness instead of just a joke, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think you're seeing that with Ruby specifically. I mean, for the whole team, but then Ruby herself, like they've all been trying to just move forward through these intense conflicts, and for her,
Never got a
now
resolution
actually
to
have
that
a moment
sword.
where kind of catching
He's
up
gone.
to her, I think is some of the more
No
fun,
memory of Penny.
interesting things about this volume.
Now on the
Do you
writing
think they're
side
gonna
of things,
talk about?
though, you guys had a pretty significantly large cast. This volume, you really
Yeah,
kind of shrunk it
I'm
down.
gonna
so
stop doing that.
concentrated.
Yeah.
What was it like making that jump?
Amazing.
So good. So good.
I'm just gonna be honest. Amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
Was able to focus a little bit easier?
It was.
Then
it was
maybe you
nice.
shouldn't keep
Yeah,
writing more characters each volume.
I mean, they're going to new
Because
locations.
Yes, but then they put way too much focus on that the main characters get nothing.
Yeah.
We're constantly trying to make sure that we can balance everybody and like get enough of everybody in. So being able to like really step back and say, okay, here's who we're focusing on.
There's a lot of really great, exciting, fun characters.
Where was
but
the
to make sure that they
wife's
all get-
focus? They all got a big old herbalist, hey, we've changed moment, but that's it.
All that stuff they'd already pretty much solved by volume 5.
Yeah, it was done with.
Weiss's focus was being horny for John. That's all she
Character
gets.
is really challenging. A lot of times you have to lump
Not
characters together
enough.
and they sort of have the same
Right.
very small stair-step stories, and this was nice. I mean, this is one of the things I really like about chapter 2 specifically, is you just get a chance to tell smaller stories within a chapter, which is harder to do when there's a lot of characters.
Personal this season.
Yeah.
I know from a voice acting perspective, it was great. I was like, a 3-hour session today. Whoa!
We were telling me that volume 10 is going to have about 100 characters. So
I'm sorry, what? What did they just say? Volume 2 is gonna have about 100 characters?
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Joke
Okay,
alarm. Joke.
Well, you say that, but apparently Team Coffee is in Vacuo, if you read the books.
No. 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 They are not about to just introduce Team Coffee and then be like, oh yeah, we're here. Like, we're gonna...
We've been here this whole time.
And then one of them dies, and we're supposed to care.
That
Hey,
will not
guys,
happen.
how come-
I'm not going to say I hope that doesn't happen. That will not happen. I refuse to allow that to happen.
Hey guys, how come Velvet's not helping? Oh, her and the Shades lady are on a date.
It's going to be very interesting.
And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
wait,
can escape it, man. We
my
don't
brain
need
just...
the ad.
Who is
I feel
this?
bad for the people who bought the game.
So let's talk a little
I've
bit about
gotta make my lunch for tomorrow, and I'm sick of this, so I'm hopping off. Y'all enjoy whatever this
He's
is.
bailing. He's a pussy. Pussy's bailing.
No, DA's the smart one here. He's...
Nah, he's a dummy.
No, we lost
Okay.
like 2 people.
Well, yeah, you still watching this?
Sure.
world building.
Until
I'm
something
excited to hear
calls up.
from Aaron because
Until something
this
comes
is
up or
radically
until
different
something
than
is
stuff
said
we've
that
seen
just
before,
breaks.
But you still want to keep it feeling like RWBY.
Well, luckily, Carrie and Eddie gave me like a lot of freedom on like how to direct the season
you're
and the
going as
look.
well?
The direction was to like make it different
I think
from
what's leaving.
Remnant.
The initial beach, as an example, is like could maybe kind of be on Remnant.
It's recognizably human, but it's not alien per se.
Uncanny Valley
Yeah.
almost.
Why didn't you talk about this in the first episode?
It's off. It's unsettling.
Giant shells and
Yeah. It only gets crazier from
I
there.
think my big contribution was the 6-finned starfish or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, they normally have 5, right? Let's do 6.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, DA said this a while ago, or BG or DA. That's something you do when you don't know. Actually, no, that was a Mueller. That was a Mueller quote. I'm forgetting who said anything. Okay, what's something you do when you don't have an idea of what to change in a world?
I'm a big fan of the horseflies.
You see, in this world, the apples are cubes. Isn't that wacky?
Yeah.
On Remnant, for example, like so many of the kingdoms are based off of recognizable places from our world. Vale's very like European, Atlas is very like New York. The Ever After had to be really deprived of any human iconography, I guess.
Yeah. Got you. Definitely seemed that way.
Yeah.
Connor started off directing the episode, and you and him worked together to like really
Right.
get this kind of like Escher style. Let's take everything and warp it a little bit. Again, just like really trying to separate it from anything we've seen in Remnant.
Right, yeah. Overall art direction for the season's very inspired by, like, I'm very into art history, so a lot of like modernism, more contemporary pieces that aren't exactly tied to one culture.
I'm trying to think because like that only really applies to this episode and nothing else for the rest of the volume.
Just need to know what modernism was. Yeah, Triton moment, shut the fuck up.
So it feels a little bit more foreign.
It works out too, because I mean, like, you know, the whole thing is they're playing a
A game.
game. I don't know enough about art, but it's like I feel like a lot of those styles.
What the fuck you said?
The whole thing is they're playing a game.
You know enough about
I don't
art.
know enough about art, but it's like I feel like a lot of those styles involve like tile and like tile
Tiles,
patterning.
repeating patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And drawing its own hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's
its own
impossible
hand.
geometry.
Yeah.
It fit really nicely with the Alice in Wonderland themes without being literally Alice in Wonderland.
With the cat specifically, you talked about
Oh,
geometry.
you
It
mean
is Alice in Wonderland packs.
I was just about to say, like, oh, you mean this exact thing here isn't just directly ripped from Alice in Wonderland, with her being almost too big for the wing?
Stress our cat. They're completely different. Ours got a mouth laser.
I never watched Alice in Wonderland, but I know enough about it to be like, yeah, this is Alice in Wonderland.
Shapes, is that also inspiration for
I
the
know,
cat's
I've seen
look?
both
It's not
from
only
the Disney
envir-
movie
Pardon?
and Alice the Madness Returns.
Those are movies?
No, that's a video game.
What is it for? It's a Steam game? Oh, damn. 9 out of 10.
It's an old
9
game.
Damn. Xbox 360? What the? 2011?
I told you it's old. I told you it's old. It's well, I didn't remember the
was
exact year,
7.
but I knew it had to be. It's at
Wait,
least
no, I
10
wasn't.
years old.
Was I 7?
When were you born?
2004. I don't think I get. 1 second. Yeah, 7.
Environmental choice, it has bled into the characters
Exactly.
themselves.
My brain's being fried.
Marry the
My brain's
characters to the
fried
world
right
a little
now.
bit more, and it does kind of tie back in with maybe some Grimm that we've seen in the past. The very subtle checker pattern on the King Tai.
I'll never say it right.
The big snake. Yeah.
So does the cat have a unique rendering style? Like, is there something special?
When was the last time they used the snake?
Episode.
Oh, it was just
4?
I think it was
Of
in volume. I think
volume
it was
1.
in volume 3. No, I think it was in volume 3 at least.
So
Is it
You
in
could be
volume 3 or
lying.
volume
I don't know.
2
I
was
will
in,
never
Episode
know.
of Grimm?
yeah, I mean, so I think that started again with us just kind of wanting like the cat to feel a little bit special and knowing that they'd be in a lot of stuff. The main thing is that in most cases, like the cat does not have exterior lines, which is very different for us. I mean, like that's a big part of our anime-inspired style.
What does he mean by that?
It has no outlines like the other characters. Like, because see, it's just like purple right on the outer layer of it. Whereas if you look at RWBY, you can see like a dark, an outline to her.
Ah. Glad you know stuff about that
Cartoons in
because I
general
don't.
have
I'm
an
not
outline,
an
and we just
artist,
kind of wanted the cat
animator,
to
or
feel
artist.
a little bit more connected to the world and just feel a little bit different. We'll see this throughout the course of the volume, but there's a lot of
I am
interesting
both.
ways that they can
Pardon?
No, I am both. I've done art and animated.
form.
Though it's been a while since I've animated anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you like art better.
I think I just like art more because I can produce something faster.
Ah.
Itself was very in
You
the
see
rig
how
were
fast you
very
are on
complex,
ALX?
and then on the visual side had to implement a whole bunch of different shaders and like rendering techniques. I love the cat, but this darn cat to work.
it turns out when you base your entire pipeline
Well,
around the
no,
idea
no.
that every
You aren't implementing any of that. You're forcing other people to implement that. You have the idea, and you're forcing people to make that idea a reality. Because, as you said, she's an art director. She's just telling people what to do. She's not doing it herself.
Oh. Oh. So that's not. That's. Because like this entire part, I was like, I'm just hoping Dad has something to say because I got nothing for this.
character has an outline. When you then have just one character that doesn't have an outline, it's a little bit more of a setup. So thankfully our Vizpost team was able to like figure that out. It definitely caused some problems, but
Worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
So narratively, they're exploring new areas, and then
Started
animation.
little.
Pardon?
Oh, this is like behind the scenes, but the animation team had a lot of problems rigging Little to have both a bipedal walk cycle and a quadrupedal walk cycle.
You have any
But
idea
you won't hear
why?
that from them. Oh, because they weren't used to animate, because they had to make it in the same rig.
That seems like it would be
Because it's not
an easy
It's not two
thing.
different models. What are you saying?
I guess I have no clue about animating, but that wouldn't seem. I've seen that done a lot in shows where like they'll have someone go from like two legs to like 4 legs or like like a bipedal walk cycle to a quadrupedal walk cycle or one cycle.
Well, it all depends on how the character is made. Because if it's made improperly, like the proportions Lil has, there could be a lot of clipping issues.
Ah. And I guess that and knowing group team and knowing knowing the writers and animators, I don't know if they were made correctly then.
Not really.
For exploring new areas too.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, especially with like the cat has this a little bit, but Little in their rig. I mean, to have a character that can be quadruped and biped is like a thing.
I would have never thought.
Hasn't that been a thing at all for like any other character, or has it? Like you'd think it'd be for, like,
there's
something for
plenty.
Blake.
Because actually, I was just watching a fun clip of like a robot being tossed aside, and it is going from a bipedal stance into a tank mode, into a 4-wheel tank.
Thought about that
So
before.
yeah, huge shout out to our modeling rigging team.
So
It's
yeah,
really
you
hard
can
to
just
get that
Transformers of all the time.
like perfect. So the animation team and the rigging team like did a really great job of figuring out the best way to blend those together.
I need Team RWBY running like a pack of wolves immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next volume.
Yeah.
I am now a horse
You-
girl.
You get some really funny animations
No,
when you
they
cut.
are walking at a leisurely pace. They are not
Yeah.
running towards anything.
Yeah, but there's no hurry. Like, what's there to worry about? Oh, Salem? Nah.
Animation cycles meant for one thing.
You said this whole volume was for them to get away from all that, and now you're saying they're rushing.
I need to rewatch some volumes. But question. Was there any point where Salem showed any urgency towards wanting to get all the relics?
Never.
Like where she said she wanted to, not where she was shown to, but like it said to.
No. She was just like, she mostly just sat around. Nothing was like, we gotta get this now or at this specific time. No, she's just taking her sweet leisurely time when she can just do it all herself for no particular reason. Like she just sits there in her
That's a
chair.
problem with one of the things that the Ace was saying. She was like, "Oh, it's fine that she is taking forever because hasn't shown any urgency to."
Also, like, you would think
But if
he'd
she
go
wants to end
and
the world,
look
but
for
she
the.
wants to end the world as soon as possible. Like you got the easy mode right there. Why take your sweet time?
Yeah, but his argument is she's never shown to want to do it like immediately. So she's fine with taking her time, even though it's been shown that she's failed time and time and again. So at a certain point, you kind of get fed up with it. I'm like, and I'm thinking, how do I argue? You don't fucking take your sweet ass time on this, even if you had decades. Like, she's been shown wanting to die. So why would she just now be like, oh, okay, I want to die, but at the same time, I'm just gonna wait. Like, I'm just gonna be very slow with it instead of just, you know, going like out there finding the maidens, just or like forcing Osmond's hand or like just torturing him, capturing heads of the guard or you know, like actually being proactive villain.
It's honestly the worst thing they did, making her both immortal and all powerful with their magic.
And yeah, and I don't know why DA's exactly. I know I don't understand how how DA can defend it. That's what I
he
should have.
defends Salem?
I think I put it in the last. I think I put it in a recording where it's like he's defending it because like she's never had it shown any urgency, so she has no reason to need to like go now. Like why? I said like why hasn't she been trying to be proactive for like
The
a
urgency
good
is that she wants to die.
yeah, and but she's like let me see if I can find it. I might be able to find it in one of the videos. Hold on a second.
I don't remember DA ever saying that.
He said it. I'm 90% sure it was recorded the last time. I don't know if you were there though. Ruby watch along and final thoughts. I think it was this one because you weren't here for this one. Volume 8 is truthfully just stop thinking about this. Incineroar. How do I beat Incineroar?
Nothing but time. She's not really in a rush.
Yeah, right here. If it'll load.
Just walk up and win. What do you mean walk up and win? Walk
Like,
up to who and win?
take the relics, or you just kill like Ozpin and take the relics, or like because only one because go out find the maidens.
No, they
win,
all
and,
they're all sealed specially. They
No,
all
I
need
mean,
the maidens
no.
to open up.
No, I mean Beacon requires something other than the maidens. I'm
Yeah,
saying
but you still need the maidens.
so why doesn't she go
you would
find them?
need to go out and
Why
try to.
isn't she out there finding them?
she
I don't
has
think.
people finding them. What is she gonna do more than what Cinder can do?
Can she
Wreak
become
havoc,
winter
take an
summer?
take
would
an
say
entire
making a
world
group
hostage.
for the search would be better than one person doing it.
I'd say she should be out there with them.
But she has nothing but time. She's not really in a rush.
Oh, but then now suddenly she's doing something.
No, this is it. I see no problem with hey, go out there and do it. Either you're gonna succeed or you're gonna fail. Doesn't matter to me. I'll just find somebody else to do it.
But people have been failing. Why doesn't
Yeah.
people have been failing for eons, basically?
But I wouldn't say that.
So when did she
Because we
decide?
don't know when she first started her mission to get the relics and stuff.
We know Osman did it like 86 something years ago. We know Osman like put the relics away 80 something years ago. So
okay, so 80 something years is not eons.
Okay,
that's
almost a
looking
century.
for them.
That's almost
looking for them. Just going.
All I
All
can
right,
think
go
of
out and
is
find somebody.
Okay, but
again, if she was just like find them right now, that'd be something. But she's just like find them, bring them here.
Why is she so lazy?
Because she has nothing but time.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you want to hear more, then you can go to the actual video. But yeah, that's. I'm like,
but she knows that the relics are all in certain places. She knows that one was in Beacon, one is in Mistral, and the other one's in Atlas, and the other one's in Vacuo.
Oh yeah,
she knows that they're in the main. She knows they're in the main kingdom, and honestly, with how magic is portrayed, I wouldn't be surprised if she can just like magic her way through those seals. But she does. Well, she doesn't try, so we'll never know.
Yeah, and I arguing with you on that, and like he was just like, oh yeah, and what I got to agreement with is if she has any like if she's ever shown any urgency, that would break the story, right? And he agreed on yes, that would, but she hasn't shown any urgency. But wouldn't the urgency be, oh, she wants to die, and waiting decades would probably not show a lack of urgency.
Yeah, I'd say just about her trying to wait things out does not exactly show urgency. Shows
and especially when
more
she's
so
immortal,
patience.
and that's my entire point. She's immortal. Why doesn't she? Why do like the second you have
what can they do to stop her?
Yeah, it's like, oh, she needs to find the relics. She needs to find the maidens. Well, then why doesn't she? I mean, she literally like there were multiple volumes where it's like, oh, she knows where the maidens are. Why doesn't she just go get it and then get the relic? It's literally a 0% chance of failure.
And if anything, the power might still be able to go back to her. The main power could even go into her.
I mean, yeah, I think, but I like you could argue that, and maybe you might be right, but I feel like it would just be like, oh, force them to open it and then just grab the relic. I mean,
well, that's if they choose to actually open it, because given how like the main powers are described, she could just kill them, and if they're thinking of her last, she can take the power.
Yeah.
But that's
But
if
I feel like that wouldn't be worth like even like that risking when you can just force them to open the vault. Like it doesn't require any special like knowledge.
But there's still also the issue of the fact of how loosey goosey they made magic, that she could probably just force it open without really needing a maiden key. But we never see that being an issue, or she's never even tried that. So it's not like we can say that the seals are really protecting them.
Yeah, I'd say honestly, you probably would talk to DA about that because I don't want to also make arguments for him and also about that, but even I was saying, I was like that makes no sense, and nobody was really arguing for or against it other than me.
Well, it's because if the seals are so super effective, they can just toss Salem into one of them and deal with that problem, and the problem is dealt. She can't escape.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Something with a completely different rig like that.
Back to this
It's very
fucking
funny.
video.
Well, there's a pretty big fight in this chapter as well. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Well, yeah, we really wanted to, again,
Oh, yeah,
get back to
let's
kind of
fight.
Yeah,
early
this
RWBY
fight.
sensibilities. We hadn't seen Team RWBY versus dozens and dozens of enemies
Yeah.
in a while, and so we really wanted to include something like that felt
Yeah, by
really
break-
fun.
by
And
breaking
again,
the
if we're focusing
literal,
on the four
like,
girls, let's
established
see
rules
team
by, like,
attacks,
3
let's
seconds
see
ago.
all kinds of cool stuff.
But smaller.
Yeah, but smaller.
Literally.
And it's interesting that there was a part of us
And
that
also,
wanted
they-
to find a way for RWBY to get involved
Also,
in the
why
fight.
didn't?
which-
And I remember we were talking about this in the watch log. I was like, why isn't RWBY doing anything? Why isn't the Red King doing anything? Why aren't like half of these? Why are like so many of these characters just like, oh, you're just sending more of the pawns? Why don't you just shrink Ruby? Why don't you just? It's like, why
Ruby
don't
can
you just
literally
try to-
swat a lot of them away, but she does nothing.
Yeah, and it's like, it's stupid. It's fucking weird. It's like how they just don't. They just forget about characters. They forget characters exist until the
Oh yeah, they
moment
do
they're
that a
needed.
lot.
Yeah, they did it in Volume
Oh,
3.
remember this is also
with-
the episode where this is also the episode where Blake runs out of ammo, but then has ammo again when fighting Neo Cat. Because we see her run out and go like, "Oh no, I'm out of ammo." She even makes a face,
Wow.
but then suddenly has more of it later.
would have been fun, but it also feels really nice for where they're at emotionally too, right? That RWBY is separate from them.
And continue to build on something, we'll see throughout this.
You
which
could
is
you
Ruby's
could get near
character
them by like
feeling the burden of
doing
leadership.
something.
I mean,
By the end of the episode, she literally has them on her shoulders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That felt really appropriate
Yeah.
for the rest of the volume as a visual representation of
Don't-
that. And I also want to give a
don't
shout out
worry.
to Kirsty Burkhardt.
I thought he was about to say a
She
magical
wrote the
representation.
heck
I
out
was
of that
just- I was
episode.
about to
It's
fucking
always tough
tap.
to structure an entire episode around like a fight sequence like that from a writing perspective. But she just really, she fell in love with like the game concept of it and was able
What
to
do you mean
like.
that you fell in love with the game concept? Tell me anything. Tell me what the rules of the game were.
Well, they can tell you the rules of the game. They just never followed through with it because it was destroyed within 2 turns.
Yeah, it's
make up rules to a game and then
Also,
also break them, and she wrote
wait,
a
no, wait.
concept of it and was able to like make up rules to a game and then also break them, and
She broke them on her first
I
turn.
want to tap. I want to tap out of this. So, you're happy that they made up rules and broke them on purpose, and nobody was punished for them.
Well, no, because the cat bailed them out. Because remember, they were about to get their executed, and then the cat saved them. Because Ruby has no weapon, and therefore she is useless with her super speed.
Even though that is a good semblance, and you could have done
It's
something.
very good. Oh no, she just caught them, and therefore is now spent and can no longer do that.
Yeah.
she wrote a lot of choreography into it as well, and it turned out great.
Actually, I got into a conversation about this particular episode with someone, and they said like the Red King was important to the volume. I'm like, no, it really wasn't. In fact, it wasted more time because it now shrunk our characters, and now they have to waste time finding this Grogurt parfait to grow bigger.
Did you get a response back?
Huh?
Did you get a response back?
Wait, what?
Pardon?
What'd
I
you
said,
say?
did you get a response back?
Oh yeah, I got a response back, but like they were saying, like the king was supposed to show like a version of an ascension, and have the cat there to guide them, and also like
Wait, since when was the
cat then-
ascension? Wait,
the
is it
ascension was
Was the
no,
ascension
it
the
was
Red
like
Prince?
supposed to. Yeah, because remember they said the Red King. He was a Red King before, but through ascension he became the Red Prince, and
When
he's
did
the
they
only
say
one
that?
to show like. Yeah, no, it's not said, but it's pretty much. Well, technically, yeah, because they kept alluding to that he was a Red King, but thanks to you humans, he's this.
But doesn't he want to be that?
Well, yeah, he kind of does, but like at the same time, it's just really, really weird. It's also the only ascension we've seen a person regress in age.
And it's also one of the few ascensions where the person doesn't want to be that ascended thing. Are we saying Alex killed the Red King? I think.
Well, apparently he well, considering he nearly shattered himself with the temper tantrum, it's might be safe to assume that he just shattered himself. But we don't know how the story went, so we'll never know.
Damn.
That we would zoom out and it was just Ruby at a chessboard, just going.
That's sad. Yep. What kind? It's kind of far away. Team Movie, then versus now. I want to skip this one, but no. Because what do you think they're gonna say in this one?
I love when characters talk to themselves, and you.
Do you like it?
They're gonna jerk themselves off some more.
Do you like it when a character talks to a past version of themselves? Because it feels a little lazy sometimes.
Well, it depends on all.
It
It
feels
always depends on the
heavy-handed
execution.
Yeah.
Because here, it's really, really stupid considering the past issues both of them are talking about. Because like, Yang, oh, your arm, you could be whole again. Like you've already went through this. You pretty much, especially in the last volume, where like you just pretty much regard your own cybernetic as another part of yourself. Why are you going through this again?
Yeah, I feel like in this specific instance, it was kind of heavy-handed and stupid. Because it's like, oh, you were way different from then.
Get a chance to do that.
And we got to see Racist voice again.
Talking to an older version of your own character.
RWBY, as we discussed, has gone through a lot of emotional turmoil, and I feel like she has not healthily addressed any of those emotions. And I think we're seeing like a visual representation
And
of her
getting no help
subconscious
whatsoever.
coming and going, here are your faults, here are all the ways in which you feel you have failed not only as a person but as a team leader, and she's forced to address it head on physically. From a personal standpoint, it's certainly very like emotional, especially considering the last couple of years that the whole world has gone through. It's like we're dealing with a lot, still going through a lot of trauma, and that I hope was apparent in the reads too.
It was a really special moment for a number of reasons. I think it was really fun to portray present day Yang, but also past Yang, because the way I would voice act Yang in volumes 1 through 3 is very different than how I would voice act her now. But that moment when she's talking to her past self, I think it's an incredible moment of growth because she's talking about how the mistakes she's made, the devastation she's been through has changed her as a person, and she doesn't regret it. She knows better, she's learned, she's stronger for it. Whereas her past self, I think, felt like she was untouchable. That was her personality. Like, she was very confident because she felt untouchable. But now, because she's been through all this, she feels like she's stronger for it. And so she doesn't want to go back and change
None of
anything.
that was conveyed through her talking to herself.
Yeah, it
None
wasn't.
of that was.
It really wasn't. It was mostly her moping, looking at her arm, but
Yeah, it's like, hey, you can have your arm again if you want to. It just really, like, they can say this was in it, but it really wasn't. Because if that was the case, her past self should have addressed the fact that she went behind all their backs to talk to Robin and give them the plans and details, thus leading Ironwood to really lose trust in them.
yeah.
That's like a really huge moment of growth for her and the rest of the team.
I think it's an interesting thing about having a show that's been running for so long too, is that, you know, we've seen years of these characters growing. In World, they've only grown like 1.5, 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's like,
a lot going on in a
yeah.
short amount of
Yeah, I
time.
think
They
one of
have
my
not
favorite things
done
too.
much growing. In fact, one of them has devolved.
Yeah.
That being Blake.
whole moment.
She's devolved the most, where she's glued to the hip to Yang.
It is the way Miles wrote it and Dustin directed it. We focus on Weiss, Blake,
Racist
and
Wake.
Yang first. We see the ways that they, you know, are genuinely actually feeling
Racist
better,
Wake
the way
and
that they've
homophobic
grown
movie.
and feeling of themselves and how resolute they still feel.
Made for each other.
And I am a huntress. I am a huntress.
I am a huntress.
And then almost like we'd forgotten, then we get back to RWBY. And it's like,
and it's bad.
Oh, and
Oh, we never
on the
forgot.
floor.
Yeah.
Pardon?
No, because they tried framing it as like, because what they said, like, oh yeah, we forgot about Ruby. Like, no, she's the main character. You have not shown her, because throughout the time like those three were talking, Ruby is never once shown. It's not until like the very end where they like accept themselves, but they show Ruby has not accept anything. Because this is the this is the very start of her actually talking to herself.
yeah, and I love that cut so much. Like
Yeah,
it's just the
it's a
way that
great cut.
we order that. It's a complete different energy.
I like also like the Ruby's of volumes past has been
Yeah.
very positive, and that's her motivation. You talk about like Yang going like, okay, yeah, I've had my struggles, but like I'm better for it. Total opposite for Ruby. She's like, I'm okay, I can do it. It's like, no, you cannot. And the world is now going to stop you because you won't stop yourself.
Yeah.
In a sense, the rest of the team doesn't even quite see like how bad it's pulling at RWBY.
I don't think Ruby sees how bad
Yeah.
it's pulling at RWBY,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And it felt like
Yeah,
a good time
it's
to
really
kind of
bad.
check
The
in
team
for
is
the
not
audience, right,
noticing
to say,
this very obvious character change. Because like she's supposed to be portrayed as this super happy-go-lucky, and all of a sudden she's like, "Why we gotta stop acting like we know what we're doing?" It's like, oh, that's a stark difference. Hey, Ruby, you want to talk this out?
Leaves.
They like very explicitly like have RWBY talking to herself of like, this is what is happening.
And really clearly separate the three of them from her.
It's so beautifully sinister too to have it delivered from Volume 1 RWBY, like the most positive force in the show. Come on now.
Well, you talk about that. It's
She was
wild
positive
that you've
until
been
like
voicing these characters.
volume 9. There had to have been a point where she wasn't positive.
She was pretty much positive. I want to say up until Volume 6, really.
Oh yes. Well, aside from the Brunswick farm. Yeah, aside from the Brunswick farm, then she's been mostly positive.
Yeah, because it wasn't until like the whole Ozpin lying thing where she's like, oh, where she
Yeah,
like
like-
really had doubts about her happy-go-lucky attitude was like waning.
Yeah.
But even though they were still going with Ozpin's plan no matter what.
Yeah. You know, good writer would have had this peppered through seasons instead of not all at once. But
I
yeah,
still they try to paint Ozpin as morally bad or gray. I'm just thinking like, what has he done that actually is morally bad or gray? Because like,
other than sending children to their death. I mean, the whole argument most people give is sending children to their death, which was also explained by Hazel.
but we've never seen him directly send anyone to Salem. And if they're going to say they died to the Grim, that's just an occupational hazard.
Yep, it would.
'Cause, like,
I mean, I
Austin
guess
has just been
no.
running stuff as he normally does. And again, you have to show him actually do something like nefariously gray or something like that. Because as far as things go, he's been an upright guy. You have to actually show him like leading a team straight to their death. Like they have to go here, lead away all the Grim. They'll most likely die, but everyone else over here will be safe.
Yeah, you know, you just think of ways they could have done things better, but
now for
then
over
they
a
don't.
decade. And so, I mean, like, how does that change? Like, do you still identify with these characters?
I mean, it's definitely different, but still the same. So, but yeah, I think I've grown with Yang in the same capacity and at the same rate that she's grown and changed. I love learning more about this character and who she is deep down because I think I've learned more about her as the audience has learned more about her. And so I still feel super connected to her. She's my bae. I love getting to play her. I love getting to portray this character who is so strong in so many different ways, but it's just so much more to her than just that.
Audibly eye rolled at that.
Art imitates life.
Not what they're saying, but
Our characters are different, but at the same, and we as humans are different but the same. We've grown so much in the past 10 years. I mean, that's such a formative time in someone's life too. Like for us, it was our 20s. Like this show is our 20s.
Yeah, I think that's like another
I was
level of that
8.
10-year thing. Is the biggest part of our lives.
Yes, our 20s.
I was in the same boat. I was like,
Yeah.
How old do you
Also
feel?
young, man.
I think even more now than ever, I identify with my character, especially maybe y'all can relate, but finding yourself as a person comes along with like finding yourself through your character. So watching Ruby address a lot of the issues that she's had, imposter syndrome is very relatable. I'm sure y'all can also relate to in the creative field.
I was gonna say in the entertainment industry.
What? Never.
As a creative.
That's again just the heart of the show. Is like we connect to our characters so much and have grown with them, and I hope the audience has done the same.
It's like bursts of character development. Hey, we got through this one much faster than the last one. Maybe I won't tap out. I know they're gonna say something that's gonna be like, no, I don't care if we have like
There's
1
a lot
minute
of
left.
really impressive creatures in this volume. How do all of those creatures work together to make an aesthetic that sort of matches everything you're going with?
It came down to just limitations with the technology, just and time. We had to decide designs based off of like rig possibilities, just how often this certain character is going to be in the shot.
I mean, I think a great example of that is chapter 2. They come into this town that's all based on playing a game, so we thought, oh, let's have them be board game pieces. That would be great.
Exactly.
Also, they have no limbs that need to be rigged and can just bounce around instead of actually walking. It worked.
Exactly.
It works out, you know.
One of the big concerns with the herbalist, for example, was that we didn't want him to look like extraterrestrial, for example.
That's a fine line.
So yeah, so keeping it somewhat based within our reality was really helpful. So like the herbalist is kind of like a caterpillar. There's these little after ends with the little leaf-shaped heads, the little dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of recognizable as like
Yeah.
lizards, and then
Wait. You think you're going to talk? I think is this the one where John shows up or is next
He
episode
shows
the
up
one where?
at the very. He shows up at the very end, but they don't talk about him.
Okay. Oh, so that's gonna be. So they're gonna spend an entire episode on Blake and Yang instead. Instead of talking about John came back, but I'm skipping. I might just skip this episode. Okay.
Never seen this creature before. It's like, okay, I know what a leaf is.
Right.
Kind of like understand the concept of a mask.
I think it was really cool, I think, in chapter 5, them at the market, like we kind of, been introducing them as we went, so kind of getting to see them all together in the
Right.
market now and sneaking some other ones. We had a lot of dumb jokes too, like we had the hawker who was selling mud cookies, so we made him a hawk.
Yeah.
It's just like, some of it's just like, let's
There's
just do some dumb
also,
stuff.
I'm pretty sure it made it into the cut. There was the literal rooster teeth. It's like a pink rooster with like human teeth.
Yeah.
It's kind of unsettling, but
I never even saw that.
I did.
Did you get the reference?
Oh yeah, I got it. And then I just think back to you. Then you made also a terrible new logo.
Oh.
it's kind of funny.
I think
This
we
like
brought it
that
up earlier,
thing
but
as a profile pic would have been better as their new logo than the new logo we actually saw.
like Uncanny Valley is like a good way to think about it too.
Right,
It's
right.
like, it's something that seems recognizable, but
Just a little bit off.
Yeah.
But that's the fun of it, right? I'm familiar with this, but where is it going?
Yeah,
Keep
exactly.
watching. I'll
What
see.
does it mean?
Right.
Speaking of things being a little bit off, so
Was
we
it
saw a little bit in chapter
Batman?
2, and now with Ruby's pendant, the currency in the Ever After is different than anywhere else.
Sold for
A hug.
Hugs are very valuable.
Why hasn't the Ever
Why are they?
I don't
valuable?
understand how. I don't know. It's not
Like,
like they ever
because-
explain it, and how
I
little
mean,
know that's valuable, but not.
Because I know I haven't been paying attention in my economics class. I haven't been paying attention in most classes. But isn't it based off of supply and demand? There's an infinite supply and there's not an infinite demand. So it should be free. Universally. Multiversally. Unless you outlaw it for some reason.
Huh?
Unless you outlaw for some reason. Which in that case then it'd be contraband. Which would be probably higher in demand.
It's just really weird because they decided to not do anything with money. You could have just used a barter system, but no. It's just
And that would make
weird
sense.
concept like this.
That makes sense. The barter system is something that would, in most places, seem either archaic or like just very otherworldly to some people, because some people have never. A lot of people have probably never really thought of bartering for things.
After embrace the gold standard. Come on, why don't we have paper money here?
They tried crypto and it didn't work out.
It didn't work out, so they had to go to emotions.
Yeah.
Now, so how does that idea of their version of currency, how does it play into sort of the world of the ever after?
We really wanted a lot of the kind of individual stories.
I don't think they talk. Did they talk about currency after that episode?
No, not really. I mean, I remember in episode 2 they were gonna have like a currency system of like to have enough hope to fill this jar. Like, how is that gonna work? How do like the emotions just come pouring out of you? Because they never go through with it, so we'll never know.
Stories to have kind of that Miyazaki feel, right? Where it's like magical surrealism, right? Like that there's something kind of goofy and
They
surreal
actually
happening
show
on
that
the surface,
surrealism
but
you
something
have.
like a lot deeper happening.
Pardon?
I said they actually show that surrealism you hack.
And kind of with chapter 2, it just kind of happened when we were brainstorming and when I was writing it, that it was like, oh, it'd be cool. They went to this auction and then they had to like barter for these items with their emotions. And we loved the idea of bringing it back.
That's a thought you come up with, and everyone laughs you out of the room. Like that's something that you come up with another. What the fuck are you thinking?
Oh no, they're
Go
pretty
away.
much just surrounded by yes men or yes people. So of course they would like appreciate that idea, even though they never actually show how it would be used. Because again, jar. How would you fill that up? How exactly is that going to fill? They never show it, therefore they never had to answer it. They can just say, "Oh yeah, that's how it would have worked," even though it wouldn't.
Yeah.
In chapter 5 with RWBY offering, a mother's promise, which, maybe that won't come back later. I don't know.
A mother always keeps her promises.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite moments was in chapter 2 with the auction, where the first character gives the hug for the item and then wants his money back later and he has to get hugged. Yeah, I love that.
We had a lot of conversations about how do you unhug.
We had a conversation about how to unhug, but not how to fill a jar with emotions.
I'm gonna watch 1 minute of this. If I do not want, if I fucking hate what's in it, I'm going to.
RWBY, if you want more, come back every Tuesday.
Because no, they never talked about John in this entire thing when he actually came back. And you will not hear anything about John until the last 30 seconds of the video.
Oh, fuck you! Oh god damn it! And it only took 10 years. I need to stop. Why am I still reading this? Oh my! I almost tapped out.
From comments alone.
This fucking comment is like, oh, like John said, it feels like we've all been waiting for it. I'm like, no.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Be Volume 9 spoilers. If you're
Thank
not
you.
caught up, go get caught up and then come back, please.
Barbara, big things this chapter. Finally, we've been waiting for it. We see Bumblebee on screen for the first time. What was that for you to finally see that happen on screen?
Oh my god. I don't think I'm still mentally prepared for it. Like, I went into the voice booth being like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to act this scene out that I know that so many of us have been waiting for?
Feels like I've been waiting forever for that.
I was
I need to get through 1 minute of this. I need 1 minute. Fucking almost instantly clicked off. God damn it. It's just so out of place.
It's literally the most forced thing they could do.
Like the thing is, it could work. It could work in another time, like in a different time, like after everything is said and done, or like they talk about this now, and they're like, yeah, but we have to like how like I remember in My Hero that like Uraraka did something similar. It's like, oh yeah, like I like Deku, but you can't do this now because there's still fucking Satan out there.
Was weeping. Like, couldn't
was emotional,
breathe,
yeah.
weeping in that moment. I think the design for that scene, the writing of that scene was just so perfect for that moment. It was the culmination
No,
of
it was
so
not.
many
No,
things
it
that
was
happened
not
between
perfect for
Blake.
that moment. What the fuck do you mean? They couldn't been more out of place. It was like, oh, can I force you into a situation where you have to talk about this? And it's again,
I'm
it
just
could have
trying to
been
think of.
after everything's said and done. That's when you do this. Or when you have a
Did
moment.
they actually pay attention to what they were like saying to each other?
What do you think?
No.
They were not. It's so stupid. It's so bad because it's like it's like right as you like it's hard to put into words. I'm not as good as the BG on this because I because like my response was, oh, okay, they're actually doing this, and
If you weren't part of the if you weren't paying attention to the fandom, you'd stay at the eye roll. But I looked at the fandom and god dang, like
And finally,
they could not stop gushing about this stupid scene.
and here's the thing also, because I hate like Nintendo, and as much as they do terrible things, they won't fucking just like a straight up appeal to what everyone wants immediately because like okay, how do I put this? They're not gonna they're not gonna get bullied and stuff. This felt like this felt like oh everybody wants this. Okay, we have to do this. And
oh yeah, they were especially. They will try to say they're not bullied by their fans, but when they really are.
Yeah. And I hate fucking fandoms that do that. Dream fandom. I used to be in that fandom, but I was like, after Technoblade died, there was nothing for me there. There was literally nothing for me there. It just
getting to get to that moment, I think was just so meaningful for me and Aaron. I have so many feelings of it, but I think like a lot of the characters kind of hinted in that moment, like finally, we've been waiting for a while. But I think it was done in such a beautiful and perfect way.
Hinted? No, they straight out, they were blatantly on the screen saying that. There's no hinting.
Yeah. So, do you want to watch the rest of this episode, or you want to just skip it and maybe come back to it later?
I kind of want to stop, mostly because my phone's about to die.
Okay. Yeah, I'm tapping. It's just tapping out here because, like, I almost tapped it like the 30 seconds after I heard the John line. I was like, ugh. Okay. Well, that wasn't fun. That was just a look into the minds of who wrote this. And I question why. I question how you did.
Because like it's either Miles or Eddie who wrote that scene.
Wait, what happened to Carrie?
He occasionally writes, but it's mostly those two.
God damn,
All right.
Sebastian can't
Gotta
do
go now.
anything. Okay, see ya.
Huh?
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
nothing.